Got 30 seconds. Um, I'd like to start the Peabody Planning Board meeting for September 3rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. This meeting will be held on a virtual platform, Zoom. Participants can reach this platform by dialing in toll-free 1-253-215-8782. And this is also broadcast by Peabody Access TV. First order of business is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of August 20th.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of the minutes of the August, was it 20th meeting?
Yes,
With the exception of a typo in in reference to Leno Marshall Drive. It should be Leno, not Lenall.
Second.
Dr. Otto, second. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
For the
No,
record, everybody raise their hand.
unanimous. At this time, I'd like to suspend the meeting and move into a public hearing. Drew, could you read the posting of the hearing?
Yep. Notice is hereby given that under the provisions of Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 15C, Scenic Road Designation, the Peabody Planning Board will conduct a public hearing on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. via Zoom remote participation to consider an application by Salem Country Club, Inc., owner of the property located at 133 Forest Street as shown in Assessor's Map, Lot 59, Parcel 081X, to install a crosswalk and a rectangular rapid flashing beacon on Forest Street. The application and plans are available to the public and can be viewed by contacting Andrew Levin at andrew.levin@peabodymA.gov or 978-538-5783 in advance and prior to the public hearing. The agenda for this meeting and instructions on how to access the remote participation platform will be posted on the City of Peabody website or by contacting Andrew Levin. Copy of the plan is available by contacting Andrew Levin, Peabody Planning Board. And this was in the item August 13th and 20th. I'm going to now let Attorney Kelty and Peter Fischel come into this, both here for Salem Country Club.
Good evening, everybody.
Good
How's
evening.
it going, Peter?
Evening.
Good.
Peter, and yes, I'm on here as well, Jack Kelty.
Hi, Jack.
So this is an attempt by Salem Country Club to improve the safety for their membership and for visitors to the club facility. And they're proposing to install a crosswalk which will extend from the northerly side of Forest Street or the principal entrance to the club and extend across the street to a parking area, which is, there are tennis courts on that side of the street as well. And so there is some frequency to the use of the parking lot on that side, both for people intending to utilize the swimming facilities or tennis facilities and or many of the caddies actually park on that side of the street as well. So we have had this proposal for construction reviewed by the police department. We worked with Captain Richards and Captain, I think it's Lieutenant Harkins, Sergeant Harkins, Sergeant. And we received commentary from them. We received commentary from the Public Services Department. I reached out to Community Development and in the person of Andrew Levin and Kurt Bellavance, and we're trying to create a permit path, if you will, as to how a permit issues. And we thought that one of the best, it is a scenic way. We are utilizing part of the scenic way for the relocation of a crosswalk. There is a crosswalk up there. We're going to put it in a better position with improved landing areas, if you will, and sight distances. And we are of the opinion, I know that Bob White, who may be on this meeting, and Christopher Mello went up and looked at the site distances. I think there was a suggestion by this committee or a construction review committee as to whether or not we needed to take down any trees. It's the opinion of Eastern Land Survey that no, our site distances as they stand now are sufficient. There is a canopy which is visible when you Google it and you look at this location. There's a canopy of trees that extends into the public way, but those trees are protected and will not need to be removed in order to complete the crosswalk. The crosswalk, it's been recommended that we rid ourselves of at least one parking space where the crosswalk lands, and that is the intention. Those will be cross-hatched so that they will not be used. And if it is deemed necessary that we revisit our site distances, we're happy to do that, engage a traffic engineer to tell us whether or not our whether or not our site distances are sufficient. When you're standing on the crosswalk looking north, you can see over to the ponding area on the 9th, at the 9th green. That's a straight, clear shot to the opening of Crestwood, and looking to the facing the north and looking to the east, you can see into that turn without interference, which is right at the overpass to Centennial Drive. So I think we're on the right path. I think that we've done virtually everything, and I should use virtually tonight, that we've done everything we've been asked to do. We will revisit any of the suggestions that Public Services or the police department have had. We have agreed that we will use the same kind of apparatus that the police department typically buys when they're installing traffic, so that the traffic lights, so that the apparatus will be similar to use and service as any other one in the city. With that, is there anything, Peter, you might like to add? Or
Bob, I just also, Bob White's also here as well.
Oh, good.
I'm here as well. Yep. Can you hear me, Andrew?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, Bob.
Yep. So if there are any questions,
We'll proceed with this by taking questions from the board, and then we'll ask if people might be here in favor and people against. So we'll start off. Dr. Otto has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Who will be responsible for maintaining the signaling equipment?
The country club will be. That'll be part of their budget.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Ford.
Is it possible to put the drawing up so we can all have a good
Yeah,
look
I
at
can
it?
share it. There, I see that it. I will just state, Attorney Kelty had mentioned that from Department of Public Services, there was comments regarding a space. Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but this space, I believe, will be crosshatched and no one can park there. The one I'm pointing my mouse at.
Yes, we can take out one, or if need be two, but at least one, certainly.
Any other questions from the board?
You'll have to breach the wall, Jack, or is there a breach there now?
There is a breach there now.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, is there any?
Roy, oh, just Tom, Roy's got his hand raised, and then I have a couple questions.
Go ahead. Sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Through the chair to Jack or the people from the country club. Is this solar powered or electric powered?
Do we know that, Bob?
Yes, it's electric powered. There is a meter right there, which we take the power from for the lights of the parking lot at the pool.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, anybody else?
Yep, John's raising his hand.
Yes.
Could you be a little more specific on these lights? Will they be flashing amber until they're triggered to allow pedestrian crossing, or how will they work?
There will be a sensor on both sides, and if foot traffic is approaching, they will start flashing.
All right,
And
so
it's the same equipment, but Sergeant Hawkins said he's used all over Peabody, and he says that's the equipment we should be doing this, putting there.
all right, so when it's not active for pedestrian, the light will be out, correct?
That's correct, yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yep, through the chair. Jack, just a couple questions. I know you mentioned that it's of the thought that you won't need to take down any trees.
Correct.
I would just say that as the planning board, as a to add into a motion that you might want to add in that if any trees are to be taken down, that they should get it okayed by the tree warden, Brian Grant. I think that needs to be added in there.
Andrew, I've looked at the situation. I have not spoken to Brian prior to this meeting, but plan to do it afterwards. But I don't see any trees that would need to be taken down. But we will confer with him prior to making any decision moving forward.
Yep. And then Jack, so you guys are taking this over. You are, or the country club is going to take full responsibility and take care of it.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, then. Just wanted to
Roy,
confirm.
did you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. Yep. So I just noticed this on the drawing here. There's a note on where it just to the right of where it shows what the lights are going to look like. There's a drawing that shows, kind of a zoomed up drawing that shows Forest Street. And I just noticed there's a note up there, and I'm not sure if that note is part of this job or part of some previous job, but it says existing pole guy is to be relocated by the Peabody Municipal Light Plant. Do you know, is that part of this job, or is that some remnant from some previous job?
I don't know the answer, Peter or Bob, do you?
Yes, we looked at it with Chris Mello, and that guiding light does not have been relocated, so it shouldn't be on the drawing.
Okay, I just want to mention that, guying's an important thing, and it doesn't just get relocated at the snap of a finger. And if you do need it relocated, it will be at your cost.
Absolutely, but we don't need a relocation, so.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Ford.
Just to make the record straight, and I don't want to step on any toes. If there are trees to be removed, the petitioner has to come back to the planning board, not necessarily talk to the tree warden.
Yeah, I had the impression it's both, actually.
Public trees, not private trees, right?
Yes.
Public trees, correct.
Yeah, I thought if they were taking down trees on their property and they could show us which ones tonight, then we could,
Well,
agree to it or disagree, but then they would also have to get it from Brian Grant, that it'd be okay.
well, if they're taking trees down on their property, that's their business. If it's out on the street, then it's city business.
Yeah, if it's a tree that affects the impact of the view, either right or left of the road, that obviously is a city of Peabody issue. The ones on our lot, hopefully, you you have stated, and hopefully you all agree, that those are our trees, and we could remove those, so. But I don't, uh, there's nothing on the roadbed that needs to be removed.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Hearing none, is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of this?
There's no one that I see in attendance.
And obviously, there's no one here wishing to speak in opposition.
No one as well.
So at this time, I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to allow the petitioner, Salem Country Club, to install a crosswalk and to install 2 electric traffic control lights, pedestrian control lights at their expense. In the interest of safety.
Second on that motion? Dr. Otto, second. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
For the record, passes unanimously. Everybody has raised their hand.
Thank you very much, members.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, back to the city planning board meeting. A&Rs and land court, none submitted.
Nope, we did not receive any this week.
Site building permit plans, reviews,
We did not receive any as well.
appointments. Mr. Kelty, proposed Stonegate subdivision.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I had hoped that we would have a review completed before the date that we did get. It turns out that that review was completed under date of August 5th. It was shared with us directly on August 31st, this past Monday. I believe that it was just a scheduling mistake that caused it to languish for a period of time up at the Public Services Department. I think that Mr. Pollitt may have been sharing the duty for this review with another a party, and due to vacation schedules, et cetera, and even some illness, I think that the ball got dropped and it was not given to us until August 31st. There are 82 comments on it, the first 1 through 46. Predominantly say that we've adequately addressed the concerns that Meridian and Public Services had. There were several things called out to us. There was an orifice size at number 42 we need to change. There is some maintenance detail of the 4 bays that should be documented. We expect that we are going to need about a full week or week and a half to turn our responses to this most recent. That would put us beyond your next meeting. I think I have extended this till, is it August 10th? I mean,
September 10th.
September 10th. So I think your meetings are the 10th, and then there is not another meeting that we're into October. So I would provide before August 10th, I would,
September 10th.
before September 10th, I'm sorry. I would provide you with an extension out till, what would the week after the October planning board meeting?
The first October planning board meeting?
Yeah,
The first one is, well, technically October, I would have to check the website when the meeting is.
It's October 1st.
October 1st, yeah.
your
First and
meeting is
15th.
October 1st.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
First and the
So
15th.
I would give you an extension at least till October 8th that I would send over Tuesday morning or even email tomorrow morning.
The board would have to vote though tonight. So are you requesting, just to specify, are you
Yes,
requesting
yes.
to continue?
And you said October 8th, Attorney Kelty?
Yes, I did.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that the board entertain Attorney Kelty's verbal request for an extension of time on Stonegate subdivision until October 8th.
Second,
Second,
Dr. Otto, all those in favor?
The record show everybody has raised their hand. Jack, why I have you here? Before that next, well, there's 2 meetings before this is continued all the way out. Would you be interested? We would gladly have you and Chris Mello and DiBiase. I think we should discuss this and come together with a meeting on this, and whether it's at the next meeting and we can work through all these items and, with your explanation, rather than just a written response, have a presentation with everyone explaining what's in there, as well as maybe we have another sit down with the Department of Public Service and we can work through this before we meet back in front of everybody with the planning board. So we can start to work out some of the things that are in there. Because like you said, there's a lot that, it seems that they've been answered and Meridian, has no further comment, or there's no further comment. But I still think there's a couple things in there that are concerning and are issues that, aren't just going to kind of get brushed over.
Yeah, it's very true that there are a number of issues that have been left to the board to decide. So would you like that to occur October 1?
Well, so we have the next September meeting is,
17th.
yeah, I mean, it can happen September 17th or October 1st. I would probably shoot, and I can talk to DPS and maybe Will can attend, or someone from Department of Public Service can attend as well. But I think we should have, look at a discussion on this, and if this is the board's will, but at the next meeting, and rather than, memos being passed back and forth, I think a discussion needs to happen on this project.
We would not have any objection to that, and I can get my clients to participate in that discussion at your 9/17 meeting.
Yeah, and I can reach out to the, the city departments that, should be there as well. But I think rather than us just passing back and forth memos and
That's fine.
responses, I think we need to go through a lot of the things on here.
Board?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, to Attorney Kelty, Jack, at some point in the near future, you're going to be looking for some action on this. And I, for one, perhaps other members of the board, would like the most current, up-to-date set of plans available, because there's been many changes along the way here. It's been a couple of years, so.
Do you want that electronically or?
I'd like the real McCoy, the real plan.
Okay,
Myself. Anyway. And if you want to go through Drew to get that to me, or
Yeah,
provide copies to everyone,
Jack, I'll take it electronically, but if you hand off hard copies to me, I can distribute to whoever needs them.
and I'll even come and pick it up.
no, but so will that be like 9 copies?
I'd be okay with electronic.
Would too. I just need it electronically.
Yeah, I would say probably just 3 hard copies would be perfect.
Okay,
I would like a hard copy too.
Yep, perfect. 3 will be excellent.
all right,
And keep one for yourself, Attorney Kelty.
I understand.
Yes, Roy?
I have a comment as well. So on this Meridian engineering report, there's like 8 or 9 bullet points that I circled that some are very, very subtle and minor, and some are a little more than subtle, but out of the first 47. So 8 or 9 out of the first 47. But then 48 through 84, I just kind of glanced through those pretty quick, and a lot of that stuff looks to me to be housekeeping. Drawings got changed, the detention ponds got changed, or manholes got moved, and
And it wasn't carried to every sheet quite often.
Right. So, you know, please, have your engineer, you know, do a good job cleaning this up, because
Yes,
that's,
before
that's
we
what-
provide,
and
before
your
we
client's
provide-
paying for this. Your client's paying for every review of Meridian, so it kind of behooves you, your client, and your engineer to do it right and do it once, so. And hopefully we can put this thing to bed next week, 2 weeks.
4 weeks.
September 17, right?
Well, we're gonna come and do that presentation. I don't know that,
Right, well, that's kind of what I meant, yes. Okay. Thank you.
I think also at that, the meeting, I think it'd be worth discussing as well, the pump station. All of you were provided with the memo that was sent over by the Department of Public Services in regards to the proposed location.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Dr. Otto.
through you to Attorney Kelty, are you in a position to respond to the memo about the location of the pump station, or should we just kick that over till the 17th as well?
no, I would say we were disappointed to see that, and the roadway configuration plan was news to us, and actually news to Councilor Turco as well. I was hopeful that the board or myself directly, that we could get a rendering or sketch of what that realignment is going to look like down there at Bartholomew, because we do own land. We bought the Polino property, so we do own land ourselves that is located down right adjacent to the publicly owned land. So there may still be an area that we could provide the appropriate easement, and then, but it would still have great access from Bartholomew Street. So if I'm going to send an email asking to see that, and if the planning board also was of a mind to see what that configuration would look like, we'd appreciate it, and it was news to us.
Thank you.
Roy?
Yes, thank you through the chair to Jack, and for the information of the board, of course. So if the pump station goes up at the little stub road of Ralph, so basically there's a four-way intersection up there, even though it looks like a T, but on the, it's kind of like a little stub of a paper street. And that would be the alternative location, Jack, if it can't go down here. And so what'll have to happen is that three-phase conductors will have to be run up Ralph Road to feed that pump station. That'll be a three-phase pump station. So
Correct.
hopefully that doesn't make the neighbors up there, have think we're, polluting the skies with more wires, but that's the consequence of that. And I think you're onto something, Jack. If it can't go on city property, then find a spot down the bottom and make it happen down there.
Any other comments?
Jack, I'll reach out to you next week and the right parties on our end as well, and I can look to set something up before the next meeting.
Okay, and could you also ask for that configuration if there is a plan?
Yeah, can do.
Great.
Dr. Otto?
I was going to make a motion to request a plan, but perhaps it's a wiser move to have Drew find it.
Mhm. I can send that email right after this meeting.
Thank you.
Start looking.
Are we all through with Stonegate right now?
I believe so, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Kelty.
Thank you.
Subdivision board action, we just went through that. Correspondence. City council correspondence. Motion on that, or
There is none.
There is none.
other matters properly before the board?
Go ahead, Judy.
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead.
I just was
Sure.
wondering, we had a couple discussions about going back to live meetings, and some time back, we authorized Drew to send a letter to the mayor to replace missing members. Was there any progress on either of those items?
Haven't heard anything about the other members, but in regards to in-person meeting, I think at the moment there's a lot of unforeseen issues, the things that I think in theory, on paper, it looks like we could do it well, but I don't think it would work out that well if we were to do in person. I mean, in person still really not going to be like what we kind of want. I mean, we'd still have to have desks and people 6 feet apart and masks at all times. And then I think that presents an issue where we have applicants that need to come in front of the board, and you also have abutters, and where it gets to you can't come in, but you can come in, and I think that could create some issues. I mean, I looked into it. The Wigan would be available, but again, if you saw the city council meeting the other night, everybody would have to be at their own separate desks sitting apart. And I don't believe the applicants were there. And the Higgins Library is also available. But I think just it's kind of changing with the rules and regulations on how many people in buildings all at once. I think for right now, while we kind of work through this, I think Zoom is kind of working out well right now. I know that we would like all to be back in, person, but I think Zoom is kind of the easiest way to do it right now without leading us into, issues that we might not have seen.
It would be nice that this presentation that Attorney Kelty and Mr. Mello are going to put on, as far as the changes on Stonegate, I mean, that would be nice to sit on that in person instead of through this tiny little window here. So.
I think unfortunately though, like it would still be kind of hard to see because I don't know if I'd have to reach out to City Hall and, HR and the mayor's office to see about people not employees coming into the building, especially applicants. But that's one where I'm sure the abutters are going to want to be there as well, and the people in the neighborhood. So then, what if more than 25? Already with us right here, I mean, this is what 10 people. If you have the full board, myself, then you would have to have people from public access television as well. But then, I think it's 25 people. So now you're looking at maybe only what's that like? If there's 10 of us or 11 of us, then you're only getting 14 other people in there. And what if more than 14 show up and you tell them no, and then they're not allowed to speak? I think for right now, the Zoom is working out well. I mean, again, you guys are the board, so you can vote one way or the other. But I'm kind of pushing, or recommending that we stay virtual for now.
And Drew, you could please, if you could, reinforce to the mayor that we would like to fill the rest of the board.
Will do, yeah.
And we had some suggestions. We wanted a civil engineer and I believe another attorney. Is that
Yeah.
it? John, do you recall that?
It definitely was an engineer. 2 engineers would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree with that. We have 2 attorneys, and I mean, I'm an engineer, but I'm an electrical engineer. So I think civil is really the ones that could help us out a lot.
Agreed.
we had 2 and lost 2, so.
Yep.
Actually, at one point, we had 3. We had Jack Creedon, Jerry Carey, and Christine Mizia. We had 3 at one point.
Any other matters before the board? At this time, I'll accept a motion.
Move to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have a second? Roy, second. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Look at let the record show everybody has raised their hand. Everybody have a great evening and long weekend as well.
Thanks, everybody.
you.
Thank
Good night.
you. Good night.
Everybody.
Good night.
So long.